Greetings. Welcome to all of our KTN webcast attendees around the world. Welcome to our September broadcast, which is using the language of hospitality. Let's see, I believe this is webcast 6. We started these in March. Some of you have been with us the whole time. I see a lot of regulars signed up on our list today. Minshu in India, thank you for joining us. Jennifer, Rusty Parrott, wow. I can't believe, I think I've seen your name on every single webcast. We hope the reconstruction has been going well after the fire, and we wish you well in your soon to happen grand opening. So many clients have joined us today. What's really impressive for me is many clients that I was just there within the last couple of weeks, including last week, all my friends, my new friends at Padre Getaways, South Padre Island. Shout out to you. Patrice, Lexington Marriott Resort Griffin Gate, the hotel I started my career at 42 years ago. Thank you for signing up today. Jackie, Prime Vacations, it's been a year. Hope to see you again soon. I noticed Angela from Phillips Club in Manhattan. It would be great to come back and present some training for you. My Ali'i friends in Maui, I know we've communicated. My heart goes out to you and your families, and I hope to see you at the Barefoot Technology Conference next week. So many more. Nizuk, hello. James Thompson, hello. Well, and a few more shout outs to some of our new people. Home2 Suites Forest Park. Wow, 4 or 5 registrations. Great to see you. Nicholas from the Biltmore, you're practically a neighbor here in Miami. Would love to work with you. And then Armand from Event Hotels, pre-opening. Good luck with that up in Berlin. Actually, we're going on vacation to Berlin next year. Welcome to the Language of Hospitality. I was also waiting just to get a few more of you on board with us this morning. I do want to thank our sponsors for our monthly series, Track, a TravelNet solution, fantastic property management system, particularly for vacation rental, also condo hotels. All hotels and vacation rental can use the Track Pulse CRM, and I know many of you use that. Travel Outlook, the premier call center, the only call center currently certified by Kennedy Training Network. And then, of course, Better Talent. I'll be seeing Steve Trover, hopefully, also at the Barefoot Conference, which is a week from today. So welcome to the Language of Hospitality, this month's topic. Interpersonal communication is always a challenge in any context. Forget lodging industry for a minute. Anyone here who is married, engaged, significant others, domestic partners, any kind of romantic relationship, you know what I'm talking about. Anyone who has raised a teenager or maybe is currently doing so, my heart goes out to you. It gets easier. Mine are 24 and 25. They come back to you. But language is always, interpersonal communication is always a challenge in humanity, particularly in the lodging and hospitality industry. Now, if this was a workshop and on-site training, I would have you all raise your hands and tell me, but today we have approximately 150 locations out there. We don't always have time. We don't have time on a large audience webcast for polling and things like that. But I'm gonna guess that a lot of you would say the following 3 reasons. For one, different dialects. You know, I am a failure at language. If I had my young life to do over again, I would have definitely signed up in middle school and certainly high school to take a language. Never did that. So by the time I got to college and I went to my first day of French or Spanish, everyone already knew the basic words, and I never seemed to master that. But the reason I bring that up is that those of you who are bilingual and trilingual and more, my hat goes off to you, especially those of you who had to learn American English, because we have such a large country and really English in general, so many different dialects. Even within English, we have language barriers, I think, when I talk to my friends from England or India or the Caribbean where they're speaking different dialects. We also have cultural differences. Not only the body language and facial expressions and those different things, but the actual words we choose may not translate. And if you've ever tried to use Google Translator, you know it sure is nice and it's a good help, but sometimes it does not get the context right. So that's a big challenge for us. And then, of course, within the lodging industry, which is where I've spent 35 years in training, there's so many different types of lodging companies. And just looking at our list today, we have everything from five-star hotels. We have the Fantasyland Hotel, hi, Rianne, where you're kind of a theme hotel for families with different themes. We have luxury, we have private clubs, and we have boutique, and we have vacation rental. So everybody is a little bit different, ranging from, kind of a white glove luxury concept to more casual conversation that might seem odd if we were to be too formal. So we know that lifestyle and boutique hotels tend to be a little more hip and kind of edgy. We know ultra luxury hotels are going to be more formal, particularly if they're being rated by Forbes, AAA, or a brand standard, such as Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons, Raffles, or a particular soft brand standards. And then, of course, again, vacation rental companies, which want to create a more home-like feel. So regardless, we all have challenges, but yet there's something else. We perhaps have the biggest challenge of all in the lodging business. I guess maybe second only to the restaurant business. We are selling an emotionally based product where the heart weighs in more than the brain sometimes. So therefore, sometimes we inadvertently can use language which may set off an emotional reaction. It may be a trigger to create a reaction that we did not intend, that we did not expect. So when you factor in an emotional language with different brand service styles, with different cultures and different languages, and even just different dialects, we have a challenging world out there. So let's proceed to look at some examples. In today's webcast, we're going to break them down to different segments. So if you're in sales, there's something for you. If you're at front desk, there's something for you. If you're hospitality in general, even food and beverage, housekeeping, engineering, maintenance, we have some content for everyone. So if you don't see any that hit with you right away, stay with us. And by the way, please pass this on to others. Everyone who attends gets the recordings of the webcast. And then everyone who, of course, signs up, maybe keep that in mind next time. We have actually over 60% of our people usually join us live. And those of you who don't, as you know, if you're in a different time zone or maybe Monday's a bad day, you get the recording, okay? And you can share that. So let's look, starting on the broad brush, examples relating to general hospitality communications and some examples of common phrases and alternative ways. So we're going to have some fun here. Okay, I might try to make you laugh with, you may think it's corny humor, but I'm going to put out the common phrase and kind of talk about why it sounds so silly at best and perhaps annoying at worst or offensive. And then, of course, a more common positive language of hospitality. Let's take our first one. I'll have to check on that for you. Now, we might intend this in the most innocuous way. We don't mean anything by it. But think about what we say here. When we say, I'll have to, it's almost like saying, if it wasn't for all of you guests interrupting us all day long, we could get a lot more work done in this place if it wasn't for all you guests. Or in a phone situation, all of my call center clients, I see Advantage here. I see the James Thompson Reservation Network. Of course, Travel Outlook is on. And if your reservation agent says, oh, I'll have to check on that for you. Yeah, if it wasn't for all those callers interrupting us, we could get more work done in a reservation center. Allow me to check on that for you. Let's look at another example. Oh, this is one, please don't use this. I cannot tell you how many times I walk into a hotel lobby. It is 5 o'clock. I have my computer bag and I have my threefold garment bag. And if it's the winter, I have a coat, okay? And it's around 5 or 6 p.m. And I walk into the lobby and they look at me and say, checking in. Now, what's really even worse is when I have walked through literally the rope lines. Now, by the way, rope lines are fine if you're a large hotel and you have heavy arrivals, but when it slows down, remove those rope lines. I have been that person that walks all the way through the lines and I'm standing there in the middle and I'm the only guest and they look up at me and say, may I help the next guest in line? At that time, good Doug and bad Doug have a quick conversation. And you can imagine what bad Doug wants to say. Oh, who? Oh, me? But good Doug prevails. And I walk up, and then sometimes I say, usually I say, hello, how are you? Because good Doug is winning out. Sometimes I say, hi, do you have a reservation? Now, when you say, do you have a reservation? Think about that. To some people, that can come across as like, do you have a reservation here? Because like you don't really look like you belong here. Okay. And then, or sometimes they say, checking in, I need an ID and a credit card. It makes you feel like the flashing blue light of the state trooper has pulled you over on an interstate highway. So let's start with this instead. Welcome. May I have your last name, please? Some people in a real class will raise their hand. They'll say like, oh, Doug, could be a walk-in. Yeah, maybe. But most walk-ins today use Hotel Tonight or ExpediaBooking.com or your own website. And if they are a walk-in and you say, welcome, may I have your last name? They will say, oh, hi, I don't have a reservation. Do you have rooms? And then we know we need to see the identification and the credit card. So ask in a polite way. Let's move on. Hi, just one? Oh, this has happened to me. Now, mind you, I travel on business. I do 6 days of training every month. Almost every week, I'm leaving out. I'm going to go train a resort or a hotel. Now, at a business hotel, it's not so bad. I mean, it's never pleasant to hear this, but what's bad is when I go to a resort and I go to the dining room and I walk up and I look around and everyone there is with their families and their little ones or romantic couples holding hands. I've been to the couples only resorts, couples resorts, Jamaica, shout out to you. Cove Pocono Resort, hope to be back to see you again in November where it's couples only. Now, you didn't do this to me there, thank you. But it is really weird when you're at a resort and almost everybody is a couple and you walk up by yourself and they look at you and say, good evening, just one? At that moment, I feel like I have a capital L loser on my forehead. Yes, just one. No one wants to have dinner with me tonight. How about good evening? Are you ready to be seated? The person will say, oh no, I'm waiting for my colleague. Do not make them feel alone by saying just one. Let us move on. I'm only just, I'll have to transfer. I got a button on my phone designed for callers just like you. Hold on. So you do have to transfer calls. A lot of times now, when I worked at hotels, there was a switchboard, the PBX. I actually know what PBX stands for. Do you? Private Branch Exchange. Nobody even knew that in the 80s. But today, some of you, larger hotels, have a communications department, but smaller hotels, I'm looking at you, Home2 Suites, one call does it all, and it's the front desk. And if they're calling for sales, you, instead of saying, oh, hold on, click, we're going to say, oh, we have a team in sales, or we have a person in sales. Their name is Chris. I'm going to transfer you now. They are specialists in booking groups, events, and weddings. Okay. You'll have to, okay, I admit it. This one is a trigger word for me. Usually, as I said, good Doug and bad Doug. Good Doug leads the way, and I'm a service industry person. And if someone says, sir, may I just suggest, then I'll be like, okay, I'll be glad to do that. But when someone says to me, you'll have to, Mr. Kennedy, you'll have to. Hi, we just checked in and we're leaving on Friday. We wanted to see if we'll get a late checkout. Oh, you'll have to call back on Thursday night. At that moment, I feel like saying, have to, only got to do 2 things. You know what they are? Say to your group that you're sitting with, some of you just said death and taxes. No, You can actually choose not to pay taxes. It's being born, can't choose not to be born, and you can't choose not to die. At the end, there's only one way out of this world, as my father said. So you can choose to pay taxes or not. Try it April 15th in the United States. Don't send it in. They will come looking for you and garnish your wages. I don't have to do anything, but if someone says you'll have to, I feel like I want to draw that line in the sand and have a battle. May I suggest to you? Doesn't that sound better? These are the language of hospitality. I don't think so. Should be pretty sure. What time does breakfast go till tomorrow? They should be still serving until 9. Now, if I'm arriving late at night or I'm gonna have a night out if it's a vacation and I want to sleep a little bit later, I want to be down there at 8:45. Sorry, restaurant people. I do eat fast though. I wouldn't walk in at 8:59, but I would come down there at 8:45. I would grab my breakfast or get my order in right away. Now, if breakfast is done at 8:30, or if you tell me it's 10 o'clock, oh, but it's a Friday, not those of you who have free breakfast in your hotel, talking about focused service, mid-scale hotels, the breakfast usually goes till 9 on weekdays and maybe 10 on weekends, but you mess up and you tell someone it should be 10 o'clock on a Friday, and I say, oh good, I can sleep till 9:45, there's no breakfast. I'm a cranky guy if I don't get my breakfast, especially the coffee. So I will find out and I will let you know. Nothing wrong with saying that. You don't have to know everything. Let me cover this. This one goes for the people who the question or statement, hi, I never got my email. Did you send it? It could be the confirmation, the check-in instructions, the sales contract for them to sign. Okay, and what a lot of us say is, oh, it probably went to your spam folder. Like it is your fault. Check your spam folder. You know, you shouldn't have that spam filter. Can you imagine if we didn't have a spam filter? But it's not really bad, but it just makes it sound not eloquent when we say, oh, it's probably in your spam filter. It almost makes it sound like it's their fault, okay? So how about this? Oh, okay. Let's first say we would be happy to resend those now. And can you stay on the line to confirm it? That's the ideal situation. I actually have a lot of reservations training clients that have trained their staff when they send the confirmation to just, if the person is by their email, and make sure they got it right then. And then say, oh, I didn't get it. Oh, I'd be happy to resend it. You know, sometimes emails get sent to spam folders. You may want to make us an authorized, I believe it's called authorized email address. Okay, safe sender address. That's what I meant. Okay, moving on. Next up. Sure, no problem. Now, this is said casually. This is one of those cultural things, you know, and no problem is not meant in an offensive way. And I don't think it's ever taken offensive way, but it's just not eloquent. Now, again, here's a little difference thing. If you're at a beach house rental company and you're in Outer Banks, Village Realty, yeah, maybe it's not that big a deal if someone thanks your maintenance person, they say, thank you so much, no problem. But still, it's not that eloquent. We certainly don't want to say this in a luxury hotel, okay? Because Forbes, AAA, and soft brands, Relais Chateau perhaps, I'm not sure specifically on that, perhaps leading preferred hotels, they're all soft brands. And you get your inspection report, they're going to mention this. Much better to say, you're most welcome. It was my pleasure to assist. Okay, now I know a lot of people make fun of Chick-fil-A, my pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure. So personally, I think Chick-fil-A usually does it sincerely. I'm amazed how sincerely, but sometimes you do get the person that says, thank you so much for my order. My pleasure, my pleasure. So, you know, you got to sound sincere, but no problem implies like, yeah, normally it is a problem, sir. You are lucky today, no problem. Come back tomorrow, problem. But I'm going to take it easy on you, no problem. Moving on. This happens all the time. Oh my gosh. This one, if you're in my vacation home rental clients, you are thinking of your maintenance techs right now. If you are at a large resort that has large villas where there's lots of things, or even if you're at a, let's say, a mid-scale hotel and you've got those keys and the person checks in and they say, my key, it's not working. Oh, happens all the time, right? Or in vacation rental, dishwasher's out again, huh? Third time this summer. Yeah, we've been telling the homeowner to fix this. It may happen all the time. They don't have to know that. So let's act a little surprised. Oh, okay, well, I apologize that you had this occur. Let's move on. Policies and procedures. We also have a section for reservations and sales rates. These are a little bit more general, so these may apply to guest service as well as salespeople. It's against our company policy, hotel policy, also regulatory policies. So if you're in a rental business, it may be against the real estate commission. It may be against the local ordinance, okay? But we don't, this is a hard one because we want to find another word. In fact, it is a policy. It may be, now a law, I think you can flat out say, no, we cannot put 8 people in a 1-bedroom, there is a fire code. What I'm talking about here is when someone wants to be guaranteed a location or in a hotel business guaranteeing a room number, or again, a checkout, early check-in, or they want to get a group rate past the cutoff date. We don't want to make it a big deal. Well, if you check the contract on the wedding block, it says you had to call by September 1st. Today is the 11th, and it's against our policy to extend that. So that might be an example of a situation where, it's not black or white, that it is actually the hotel or the company policy. In that case, I'm going to suggest something for you. Now, do not think I'm telling you to lie. We are just presenting the truth advantageously. And those of you who've been around in this business a while, you have done this. And the trick here is to say, you know what? Let me check further. You put them on hold for about 20 seconds. Now, if you did not know how 20 seconds is, remember when COVID first hit and we all learned that to properly wash your hands, sometimes I have to admit, I go washed, but then we learned you have to do it for 20 seconds. They told us to sing the happy birthday song, which lasts about 20 seconds. That is the perfect amount of time needed for you to check further. So what I want you to do, instead of giving a hard no, and you want to see that you're on your side, say, well, normally we're not able to do that. It is against our official policy. Try to avoid the word policy. See, I almost said it. Normally we're not able to do that for the benefit of our guests. But you know what? Pretty sure it's no, but let me check further. And then put them on hold, sing the happy birthday song. Happy birthday to me. Your boss comes by. What are you doing, Doug? Oh, I'm checking with you. Oh, okay. And you're saying no. Oh, okay. And then you come back and you say, in checking further, as it turns out, no. But you check further. We did check further. We put them on hold and I don't know, you checked your own brain, So, all right. So, oh yeah, this goes back to laws and regulatories. For guest safety or security purposes, we're unable to allow 8 people in a 1-bedroom. Now, oh boy, this is a big one. This is a big one. I'm not showing that request. Who did you speak with? Now, sometimes it may happen that you're going to want to find out who they spoke with, so you can go back to that person, maybe in another department. But the thing is, if you tell them right up front you don't see that request, who did you speak with, then you're drawing a line in the sand. Let us move instead to begin the conversation that we're going to try to help you. Let me see what we can work out for you, and I apologize for the misunderstanding. Do you happen to remember who you spoke with? I'm going to give you an example. We had just last week, Elena from Padre Getaways, I hope you don't mind if I retell your story, was checking into a hotel, and she had actually decided to postpone the arrival by 1 day. She called, she got the name of the person, and she changed the reservation by 1 day. When she showed up, the first thing they said was, "Oh, you don't have a reservation." She said, "Well, I actually changed it." And then the person started a battle of, "Well, you no-showed on us last night, so you're going to have to pay." Now, at this moment, the way Elena explains it, she had an important event to go to, which was dining at a celebrity chef restaurant, was the whole purpose of her stopping by Miami. And yet the person was more concerned about debating the no-show charge versus, and Elena, if I understand correctly, if you don't mind me calling you out, your main concern was, can I get checked in? And can I then go to have my dinner? And you're wondering, am I going to be able to stay here? And eventually then I think you said a manager comes over and says, "Oh, we have a room for you. We moved it to tonight, no worries, but we'll check into that. We'll check in further and we will pull the recording and we'll make sure that if you did cancel it, you did change it, then that's fine. But let's get you into the room. Do not draw the line in the sand until you try to first say, let's see what we can work out." We can't guarantee that. Now, vacation rental companies, oh, you have the advantage because you actually rent the home, the condo, the specific unit. Very few resorts do it that way. Hotels and resorts, we confirm a type. And you wonder, like, what is up with 201? You tell the guest, well, oh, I gotta have 201. Well, we have 101, we have 301. Right? It's pretty much the same room on a higher floor, but they want that particular room. I used to wonder, like, are they hiding something in that room? They want to see it when they come back. They get emotionally attached to it. So we can't guarantee a room number. We can't guarantee an early check-in in advance generally. We cannot guarantee a late checkout. We cannot guarantee connecting rooms. Now, I will say in the hotel industry, we have got better at putting in reservations. If you're with us, put our front desk, if you take reservations, put in the remarks field why someone wants it like that, and then they'll be able to try to block rooms. We're doing that a lot better in the hotel business these days. But generally now we say it's confirmed, okay? But sometimes the guest says, so that means I'm going to be guaranteed. So you want to say, well, what I can do is make a note of your request, or what we do have left is this particular view, not that room. And if the guest says, well, why can't you do it? I've traveled all around the world. I've never had this problem before. You might want to take a screen capture of this one. Sir, ma'am, we don't want to promise you more than we can be certain of delivering. There are reasons for which we're not able to guarantee a specific location or view. Well, why is that? Guests don't always check out on their scheduled departure day. Rooms might go out of order unexpectedly. There might be a water main break. We're not going to put you in a room that is not going to be properly set for you. So we don't want to promise more than we can be certain of delivering. Now, some people will say, oh, that's terrible, curse you out and walk out. Most people will reason with you if you provide a reasonable explanation. Let's move on. Industry jargon, use common phrases. It's really funny. A lot of times the name of the reservation system or the property management system or the CenRes system might be a funny name. For example, in Marriott, they're still checking Marcia. I don't see your reservation. Let me check Marcia. Who is Marcia? I'm speaking at the Barefoot Technologies Conference. That's the property management system for a lot of vacation rental companies. Again, Padre Getaways, last week we talked about this. Oh, let me check Barefoot for you. What is Barefoot? You don't wear shoes in your office? Hotel business, we used to have a room status. Hopefully you've done away with this. The room was VR, vacant ready, VD, vacant dirty. I remember years ago when I worked at the front desk, at the Marriott Griffin Gate where I just was to train. Patrice, you can tell this story. Guest comes back. Hi, I checked earlier. I wanted to see if my room's ready. Oh, let me check. Oh, it's still VD. The guest looked at me like, it is what? And I was like, oh yeah, it's VD, but don't worry, they're cleaning it. Yeah, they better be cleaning it really good. VD, vacant dirty, might sound odd. So avoid those jargon and things that we may say that may make no sense to the guest. Let's look at some relating to rates, restrictions, and availability. Again, these may tend to sales, reservations, but also front desk. If people call to reconfirm, could even be communications department. So we don't have a rate like that. Hi, I'm looking online at your XYZ room type. Oh, we don't have that room type. Or, hi, I'm looking for these dates and I want to reconfirm the rate. Okay, let me check the rate. Okay, the rate I'm seeing is 200. Well, the rate I see online is $198. Oh, we don't have a rate like that. We're basically calling them out and saying they're either being untruthful or they're wrong. Better to say, may I ask what website you're on? Now, managers, make sure we train our staff to be prepared for these questions. Let me give you an example. In hotels, we have something called rate parity. Most of you, and some of you are contractually obligated to have the same rate at your website that Expedia has at their website. And usually it goes both ways. But if a guest is logged in on Expedia, for example, I do use Expedia, especially if I'm traveling internationally or I'm taking a very quick trip that is not where lodging is just a commodity. I may book on there. And if I'm logged in and I see a $200 rate and I jump over to Hilton.com or Marriott Bonvoy and I see a $200 rate on Marriott, it may come up as $195 or $193 on Expedia because it checks a little box that applies your Expedia points. Okay, and unlike frequent guest, frequent traveler points, the points in Expedia can actually be used to reduce the rate. So we want to let them know, oh, are you on, what website are you on? Oh, I'm on Expedia. Oh, are you logged in? It's applying your points. Okay, so actually the rate is the same. And I'm right here at the hotel and I can book you directly and take note of your special request. Can I secure that now? Hopefully they might even say yes, even though they're saving $3 at Expedia. This is one in reservations. A lot of hotels say this. What are your dates? How many people? How many nights? And you have AAA, AARP, or military. Now, I have the AAA card. My wife gets us signed up for it. She loves to call that AAA number on the very rare occasion the car won't start or we need a jump or you have a flat tire at night in the middle of the road. I know we have it with our insurance company, but it seems simpler to call AAA and they're very reliable. The other thing is you get a 10% discount at a lot of places. Am I smart enough to remember this? No. But if you remind me, you're giving away a 10% discount, okay? So these solutions say nothing. It is the buyer's job to ask for the discount. It is the seller's job to get the most for our product. Do not bring it up. The other thing is, if you say, do you have AAA, AARP, or military, you're gonna be like, no, but can you give me the discount anyway? Once the guest knows there's a lower rate for someone else, that guest is going to fight hard to get that rate. So make sure we leave it up to them. Do not ask that. Now, it's different, by the way, if you get a rate objection, they say, well, 200 a night's a little high, thank you. Oh, let me ask Mr. Kennedy, by the way, do you have AAA, AARP? Similarly, what are your dates? How many people? How many nights? Does your company have a special corporate rate with us? No. How do I get one? You know, there used to be people, and maybe still is, in smaller markets where you know there's a certain manufacturing plant or a Coca-Cola factory, a bottling factory, and people will come into the hotel and say they're with Coca-Cola just to get that discount. So don't even plant this. Instead, say, are you with a particular company? Surely it's up to the guest to self-identify as being with a special rate program. I do know a lot of times the front desk wants to deal with it up front so that we can then avoid having to make an adjustment at checkout. However, the other side to that is you create a potential rate objection. So if you do want to make sure to identify, to have people self-identify as special rate programs, ask if they're with a particular company. Do not mention special rate. Are you with a group that might have a special rate? May I ask the name of your group? Again, I know that hotels that do a lot of wedding blocks or groups with call-in reservations where people have to identify. So if you're doing a conference and you want to make sure people use up the group block, so we're not holding the group block and people book around the block. So again, ask, may I have the name of your group, not if they have a special rate. For example, our son is getting married on Friday. Thank you, Drury Inns. Actually, you did give us a special rate. Normally, a wedding block rate is the same rate these days for a small, it's mostly a local wedding. We don't have a lot of it's not a destination wedding, but you have, it's probably the same rate, but it is actually not a discount rate. So you don't want to say, does your group have a special discount rate? And then they find out the wedding block is not a discount rate. Can of worms. You can't get that rate for your dates. Here's another one you may want to screen capture. Oh, just to let you know, our rates are date sensitive. May I check other rates? This usually happens when they get that email blast, and the email blast says the promotional rate, and it might even say per person based on double occupancy. But they're going to see the $149 rate, and you're telling them it's $349. And they say, well, I just got this email blast. Oh, our rates are date sensitive. Are your plans flexible? Can I check other dates? Don't say, well, did you read the fine print, buddy? Because it says right there. Start by offering this explanation, and then you may have to say, actually, yeah, I know it's possibly, it might be something that you don't want to say it's easy to miss. We're getting lots of calls about that. Just say, in checking further, that is limited availability, that it is date sensitive, but what we can do is check other rates. That discount applies only to our bar rate. Another industry terminology, a bar rate, yeah, you got to be drinking at the bar after 2 a.m. when it's closing time, you get the bar rate. The rates I quoted, the discount, the rates I quoted are actually lower than the promotional offer, okay? Or they're already discounted, okay? Now, I think we have a slide on that, but in case we don't, use rate framing. Anytime you're quoting a discount rate, say the rate is normally 300, but for your dates, it's 250. And then the guest says, oh, I have a discount code. Oh, that would be off of our normal rate of 300. All right, I know this is a lot. This is a lot I'm going through quickly. You have the recording. I encourage you to watch it and write down the examples which apply to you. That rate is not available. When you say it's not available, that's like saying, we got it, but you can't have it. When you say the rate is sold out, it's like, oh, the supply is exhausted. When you say it's not available, it makes it sound like we're holding out. All we have left. Oh, I cover this in every reservation class. When all you have left is all you have left, never say it's all you have left, because it makes what you have left sound like leftovers that no one else wants. So I want you to say, fortunately, during their time, what I still have is. Now, you might want to let them know that this room is a little bit smaller, it doesn't have the view, or I know it's just the two of you. And it is a 2-bedroom, but by the way, you don't have to sleep in every bedroom. It's not like we do bed checks. Don't really say that. But some people think, oh, 2-bedroom, all I have left is 2 bedrooms. That makes it sound bad. Fortunately, I still have 2 bedrooms, and I know it's just the two of you. But the good thing is, it's a little bit larger living area. And the other good thing is, I still have it. The rates go up when it's busy. Oh my gosh, we have been saying this forever. Now, a better explanation is the normal rates apply. The normal rate is the higher rate. We're able to offer lower rates during slower periods. Why is it that we always say, we make it sound like, oh, the rates go up when it's busy. The rates go up on the weekends, or the rates go up during the week if you're a corporate hotel. The rates go up during the Christmas holiday period if you're in the Caribbean or anywhere warm. The rates go up during ski season if you're in the mountains. And then they go down during the off season. Let's say it this way. The normal rates apply during Christmas in the Caribbean, but during other times we're able to offer lower rates, which is true. This is absolutely true. Ask your revenue manager. Does she lower rates when it's slow? Of course. Now they also raise rates when it's busy, but they just take them back to the normal level. Think about that one. It'll help you. Sales, it'll help you too. For the first night, it's 200, then it goes up to 275. Yeah, we're raising the price on them. Who said we had to quote rates in chronological order? Instead, let's say for the second night, the normal rate of 275 applies, but on the first night, we can give you a lower rate of 200. See the difference? Again, the normal rate is the point of reference here is 275, and we discounted on the first night. We don't start them off at 200, then jack up the rate during the busy night. Psychology of selling, folks. All right, we got a couple more here, and then we got a couple for text. I know this is a longer webcast than we normally do. We normally run 40 minutes, 45. We're gonna go just a couple more. I have about 12 slides left for you. Have you stayed with us before? We wanna know this so we can look them up in guest history. We can find out what room, what rate, what property they've had. Better one to say in today's world, most guests have shopped online. May I ask, have you stayed with us before, or did anything online catch your eye? Okay, and now we know that maybe they never stayed with us, but they've spent 20 minutes at our website looking at all of the accommodation options. What brings you to the area? What brings you to Fort Lauderdale, where I am? That's good, but if you're a resort, probably they're gonna say, vacation. So a better way, oh, is there anything special I can help you plan? And now you find out it's a birthday anniversary, it's a small family reunion, it's the first trip with the baby, it's the last trip before she goes off to college, and then, or it's a proposal. Or so now not only can we find out the purpose and we can welcome them, we can sell the right accommodation, but if you have concierge or you cross-sell activities, sometimes even for a profit, where you get referral fees if you set up excursions and sell tickets, or you just do it as a favor, you're more likely to get better service. Y'all wanna book it? Another hotel term, book, bookmaker, get booked. I don't think I wanna get booked. May I secure that for you? See the difference? Y'all wanna book it? May I secure that for you? Doesn't that sound better? The language of hospitality, ladies and gentlemen. Well, if you don't book, it might not be available, okay? It almost makes it as a threat. You'll have to pay a higher rate, sir. Triggering Doug Kennedy. How about, well, that's fine, but just so you'll know, I know you had to check with your wife or your husband, or you had to book your flights or whatever excuse you've given me, but just so you'll know, rates and availability could change very quickly. They are date sensitive. Now, sometimes they say, how's your availability? Don't be too honest. Actually, you could be 100% honest, but do not say, we are wide open. That may in fact be truth, and you may feel like you're being honest. I'm going to teach you another way to package the truth advantageously. At the moment, I am showing availability, but with guest booking online 24/7, we could change very quickly. In fact, if you book now, sir, our bookings increase by 100%, because right now we got nobody. And if you book one, we've increased by 100%. See, we're not lying. Doug Kennedy does not tell you to lie. Do not say you're wide open. Yeah, it's so slow some nights. We got to turn lights on in the guest rooms so it looks like we actually have guests. We tell the employees to park out front, make it look like people are actually staying here. Nobody wants to stay in an empty hotel. Do you want me to send you an email? Ooh, we just covered this in a few of my classes recently. let me just grab your email address so I can follow up and send you my contact information. Majestic Resorts, Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. We talked about this in a private webcast. Someone says, you want me to send you an email? People are going to be like, no. Let me grab your email address and I'll send you my contact information. Much better way. Your credit card was declined. Oh boy. Now it makes it sound like we had declined your card. Yeah, the boss in the back said no go. Much better to say it didn't go through. I was unable to get approval. I know it's happened sometimes. A bank put a hold on your card. Don't feel bad. Yeah, happens a lot. Sometimes you just need to call your bank. Don't lead with this. You put them on the defensive. You make them feel bad. Finally, our last section, textual sales and service. It's a very exciting time for the industry. Not only do we communicate through voice, but we also communicate through textual communication. If you were not with us in, I believe it was May, check out Kennedy Training Network YouTube channel. You will find the archive of all the webcasts. We did one on maximizing textual sales and service, but I'm going to give you a few highlights relative to language. Per your request, attached, please find. This makes it sound too formal. This is like a cultural thing. It makes it sound like a legal document. Per your request, attached, please find the non-disclosure agreement. What? In response to your request, I'm sending you. Per your request, it may sound formal. It does not sound hospitality. Your request is duly noted. This goes to a language barrier. This is actually one. This phrase is used very commonly in places where they've learned proper English, okay? Not necessarily my home state, Kentucky, or a lot of United States where we speak these dialects, but in the Queen's English, particularly in the Philippines, sometimes in India, call centers, they say, your request is duly noted. To some of us from America, that sounds like formal. Duly noted, I've made a note of your request. Doesn't that sound much better? Duly noted, again, sounds like legalese to some of us. And let me know if you have any questions. When you're following up, I sent follow-up sales calls. Some of you may got follow-up sales calls from me, sales emails from me earlier today, because it's my only office day this week. And I did not say, let me know if you have any questions on the proposal. Let me know what we can do on our end to secure that reservation for you or to lock that in. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know what we can do on our end. That is my go-to. If you ever got a proposal from me, Jackie Rogers, check it out. Anything sent in all caps, whether it's an email, whether it's a text, whether it's a chat. Mr. Kennedy, let me give you a quick call and see what we can work out. I'm pretty sure we've all called that person who texted us in all caps, which is text version of screaming, you know, and they're going, whoa, this is ridiculous. I've traveled all around the world. I've never had this problem. All caps, Mr. Kennedy, let me give you a call. The person answers, hello, it's Doug. Hi, Mr. Kennedy. I know you had a question. Oh, I know, I understand. I know it's not your fault and you're actually being very nice. These will soothe the beast instead of triggering that emotional reaction. So thank you for the extra, 12 minutes here. It is 12:52 Eastern time. Thank you for attending. I hope that you will always keep us in mind for on-site training and conference presenting. I will come out and work with your team. We also do private live hotel sales and reservation sales coaching. We do also, I should mention for hospitality as well, we do mystery shopping and we also score anything you're recording. So if you have cloud-based phone systems, or we can get access to text exchanges and chat logs, text exchanges, our team scores that and we will help you. Thank you again to our sponsors, Track, Travel Outlook, Better Talent. Thank you for joining us. We hope to have brought value. We hope to see you again next month on our very next webcast. Have a great week.